Put me in, coach. Today we are talking about the Lakers losing game one. Whose fault is it? Well, before we get into that, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell like an open jump shot. Most importantly, share, pass this video on because we're talking basketball here. Now, with that being said, Frank Vogel is to blame. This is all on the shoulders of Frank Vogel, the coach of my Los Angeles Lakers. Now, why am I saying that? Why am I not putting all the blame on AD, who actually had a horrendous game? He was terrible. Why am I not talking about LeBron, who also played a terrible game, but his stats kind of say a little something different? Why? Because this game was all about adjustments, right? Coming into the season, coming into this playoff series, who's the main star of the Phoenix Suns? It's Devin Booker. That's a no-brainer. So guess what? You make a defensive scheme designed around stopping Devin Booker, or at least slowing him down, because guess what? He got in there and he lit us up, right? It was exciting to see if you were a Suns fan or a Laker hater, because Devin Booker lit us up, right? I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. Now, if we're talking about Chris Paul, right? Because again, this was all about adjustments. Chris Paul got injured. Cameron Payne got ejected from the game. Chris Paul was out there with one arm. He couldn't even score. He could barely pass the ball. He couldn't shoot the ball. That's an easy adjustment. You double off of Chris Paul, because even if they pass Chris Paul the ball, what is he going to do? Pass the ball again? He's not going to shoot it. And if he does shoot it, let's see if he can win the game like that. Let's see if he can win the game when we can visually see that he's physically hurt. He's compromised. There's not much he could do. But the mere fact that he was out there proved a lot of my points, which is, hey, point guards should average at least 8 assists per game. Why? Because it just means that you're getting your teammates the ball in places where they can score easily. Easily. That's what you want. You want easy baskets, because easy baskets open up lanes. And when the court is open, guess what? Guys like Devin Booker can really have a field day, because he just have more space to operate in. Now, with that being said, Dennis Schroeder, he gave us 3 assists. How can he be our starting point guard with 3 assists? He's kind of showing that we can see him playing for a contract opposed to playing for a championship. 2 different agendas. One agenda goes with the team, another agenda goes with the player. Well, looks like Dennis Schroeder is out there playing for himself. Now, Dennis Schroeder is a great defensive player. Why wasn't he really defending Chris Paul when he knew Chris Paul was hurt? What's going on? Because, I mean, 3 assists and terrible defense on Chris Paul. Not sure what was going on there. Now, we can talk about Drummond and AD, but that's simple. That's a simple adjustment, right? You bring both of them to the top of the key and you set double screens. They set double screens. That could be LeBron. That could be Kuzma, Caruso. That could be Schroeder. Matter of fact, it should be Schroeder, because, well, I don't know how good of a passer he is, because I know he actually wants to shoot the ball and score the ball way more than he actually wants to pass the ball, which is kind of like Kyrie Irving, right? Those 2 guys would rather have points than assists, not realizing that, hey, you got guys on your team like, AD and KD. But anyway, we're talking about my Lakers, so let's stay with that. We're actually talking about Frank Vogel, the head coach of the Lakers, right? Because he just had to make simple adjustments, right? Again, Cameron Payne kicked out the game. That's the backup point guard. And Chris Paul had to actually play through his injury. And guess what? He was only using one arm. Only one arm. Now, what needs to be said is Montrezl Harrell should have actually played a lot more minutes. Why? Because he's a hustle player. He might not be big enough to bang and do all that stuff down low, but he's going to give you effort. He's going to do it no matter what. And he's a way more versatile scorer than Andre Drummond is. Andre Drummond is kind of limited to one space on the floor, which is right around that basket. Not real sure why he hasn't expanded his game, especially with him seeing where the game of basketball is going. But what can you do? If a guy hasn't realized that, that's on him. Now, with all this being said, game two should be different. I expect Frank Vogel to make adjustments. I expect Anthony Davis to have a way better game. And I expect LeBron James to stop missing them damn free throws. That being said, thank y'all for tuning in. Put me in, coach. See y'all in the next video. Peace.